All right, welcome. Episode 167 of the Narcissistic Music Disorder.
I gotta stop you. This is brand new? This is a new thing you've decided to start doing? Is it Wolfman Jack? I can't tell what it is. What do you got going there?
It's Miles Davis, motherfucker.
That's even better. That's even better. You gonna play it? That's very good, Scott. Very. No, it wasn't. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was
Tell you
disturbing.
what it is later.
It made me scared, and I did not enjoy it at all. It was very. I watched an interview with Miles a while back, and I mean, it was I don't know, an 80s interview or something. Let's just say he was sweating a lot and
Yeah.
he seemed very upset about almost everything.
Yo, my old dentist, his hygienist used to work on Miles's teeth,
Oh,
and she
man.
Wow.
said he had the best teeth of anybody she'd ever worked with, which is
Wow.
so
Wow.
surprising. But like, yeah, he
Wow.
took immaculate care of his teeth.
All right, Miles. Well, Scott, why don't you introduce our friends to our guest here?
Uh, Kiff is back for a second visit to the NMD podcast
Second round,
from
man.
Yeah.
from Los Angeles, the actor slash voiceover actor. Here to
Just
talk about some soundtracks because he mentioned soundtracks last time because he works in and loves soundtracks. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for having me back. Soundtracks are my love language. So to be able to talk about this music and these composers with you guys is always yeah, it's a singular joy. So and
well,
to be able to reconnect to some guys back in the GR, man, like come on, this is it's the best.
well, we appreciate you being here and appreciate you tackling the soundtrack subject, which is
Absolutely.
I'm a soundtrack guy, and often it's not related to the. I mean, it's related to the film in a way, but I like soundtracks because before Spotify and before all that, and before it was something you could take with you in the car and have sort of like an experience. This sort
Right.
of what now might be a, I don't know, a Spotify playlist or something. You had this cool playlist without, you didn't want to bring Aerosmith's greatest hits because you didn't want to listen to all Aerosmith all day or whatever. So
Right.
soundtracks were really good for that, and they were a good uh, buy, for that sort of thing. And when I was a kid, to get that sort of thing, you would have to get these. They were called K-tel. I don't know if you guys remember this. Is
Oh,
dating
yeah.
myself.
Yes.
Where
Old hats.
K-tel would have, K-tel would be various artists. As a matter of fact, made, I believe it was my wife, but I made her like a mixtape when we were first dating, and I labeled it various artists. And she'd never seen that before. She's like, various artists? What's that? Like most people would put mixtape or whatever. But yeah,
Yep.
so I was very fancy. So we're talking about the soundtrack. I've got some we were talking before we started recording. Some of these soundtracks I know I've mentioned before, but these five soundtracks I have are all ones that I can say I can remember, listening to in the car or putting them on before there was streaming, and it would be something that I could enjoy the entire soundtrack. So
Yeah.
let's have our guest open us up. Kif, what's your first soundtrack?
My first soundtrack. Oh my god. Uh, Guys, this is the challenge. Like my entire vinyl collection, most of them are soundtracks. Like
Nice.
Wow.
combinations of either the score of the film, or like the collection of needle drops and those things plus a little bit of score. I'm gonna start with probably one of the most important soundtracks for me that I remember getting on cassette
Ooh.
back in, oh my God, it had to be 83 or 84.
All right.
What I loved about soundtracks is that it was a way to take the movie home. And this is before home video.
Right.
This was like you'd see the thing, it was still in the movie theater, so it was like, it was special, it was hard to get your hands on unless you bought a ticket for, but you could go to Believe in Music, you could go to Tape World, you could go to these places and bring that music home. I'm going to begin with the soundtrack to the movie Beverly Hills Cop. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
got I mean, from Patti LaBelle kicking things off to the Pointer Sisters with the Neutron Dance.
Neutron Dance.
Just listing these songs, I'm getting chills talking about it.
Bob Seger, right?
Bob Seger. Oh no, Glenn Fry. The Heat Is On was
Oh,
Glenn
yeah.
Fry. Was Bob Seger on there? Maybe.
He was in one of them, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you know what, Scott, you're right. It was in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Two.
He did the song "Shakedown."
Shakedown. Yeah.
Breakdown.
Breakdown.
Yep.
Everybody's walking to the crowded line.
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, also an absolutely undefeated soundtrack.
And then Axel F, of course.
Axel
Yeah.
Right.
Harold Faltermeyer's music in that soundtrack is so incredibly 80s, but like,
Yeah.
Oingo Boingo, Danny Elfman's.
Oh yeah, who went on to obviously score
my
tons
God.
of stuff, right?
Yeah, it was the first time I remember hearing his music on it. There's also like some albums, and I don't know how this happened, but some albums had a song by a band or a song called Rockin' Robin on it. My cassette did not have that, but I had Shalimar, New Edition. God, there were so many amazing pieces on that piece. And
Was there?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, was there a song by the Bus Boys on that soundtrack,
I don't
or
think
was
so.
that Eddie Murphy's?
Eddie Murphy? Yeah.
Delirious or Raw. He had a live band, like it was the Bus
Yes.
Boys.
Yeah.
But
Bus
for
Boys.
some reason, I thought they were in one of those movies with us, because I remember seeing like the Bus Boys. The boys are back in town, and I thought, oh, cool! It was going to be a Thin Lizzy cover, and it was their own song. If you remember it, it was
Yes.
the boys are back in town. Yeah,
That was
cool.
for Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
So,
Yeah,
Ghostbusters 2, I think the Bus Boys were on that soundtrack.
nice.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, so Beverly Hills Cop, I have recollected the vinyl of it. I haven't
Killer.
watched it recently, but I was talking about it the other day on another show, and I just think that soundtrack is undefeated. I listened to it every day while I was delivering papers in Cutlerville.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good one too. What do you got, Scotty?
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ooh!
Oh yeah.
It's all 60s
Yeah.
tunes. There's two songs from the score on it, which are both really cool.
I'm sorry, Scott. Who was the composer for that? Was that Mark?
Let's see, Marco Beltrami
Oh, okay.
and Buck Sanders.
Yeah.
Speaking of composers, we had one on the show, Sasha Chaban. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay. He's got a studio out there. He's a composer. He's amazing. He's from France.
Oh, wow.
He does a lot of movie stuff for Netflix and soundtracks and things like that too.
Awesome.
We also have a friend. Do you know the Juniper Post Studio in where is that? I think it's by the Comedy Store.
Yeah, over there on Sunset?
I believe it.
Juniper Post. We
have a friend that works there.
Oh, awesome.
Michael Kreppel. I don't know if you're familiar with that name.
I haven't met him yet. I haven't been over to that particular studio. Juniper, what is it called?
Juniper Post. I think it's
Post.
yeah.
I see it. Yeah. It's here in Burbank.
Burbank, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I have been over there. It's on Glenwood Place. I'm trying to think because we did a lot of ADR for Young Rock over a lot of these post-production studios here in Burbank.
But this has a cool like instrumental version of Money by the Kingsmen. It's got Buck Owens doing Love's Gonna Live Here. The Byrds, Stranger in a Strange Land. Link Ray, Ace of Spades. Billy Riley and the Little Green Men, that Flying Saucer rock and roll song. That song's awesome.
Yeah.
Les Baxter, the jazz guy, doing Shooting Star.
Nice.
So it's a cool vibe soundtrack. It's like good to put on in the background when people are hanging out.
That's awesome. What a terrific picture too. Man alive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Matt Damon and Christian Bale are unbelievable in that film. And that scene where Matt Damon is driving Tracy Letts around and he breaks down in tears. It's like, this is why you have a professional driver do this.
Right.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie.
All
Great
right.
film
Well,
also.
boy, you guys have really started this thing off. So now I'm going to use a soundtrack by a guy named Ry Cooder,
Oh yeah.
Arlen Roth, and Steve Vai. It's the soundtrack to Crossroads,
Crossroads. Hell yeah.
which is
Wow.
Crossroads was like a real gateway for, I mean, I'll just say it for like, your kind of run of the mill rock and roll guitar players and Midwestern guys. It's how I even kind of really got into that kind of Delta blues music. It was through Crossroads because they made it seem like that music was necessary if you were going to pursue the guitar, right? If you
Yeah.
if you were, that was, and this has like some great songs on. First of all, I Crossroads, the song Crossroads, by Robert Johnson, which is kind of that's the blueprint of the whole thing. There's a cool song called "See You in Hell, Blind Boy," really good. So there's a great, like, I wasn't super familiar with what we'll call Southern gospel music.
Mm.
And the only way I can describe it is Southern gospel has that kind of swing low, sweet chariot kind of sound, but this one is a song called Somebody's Calling My Name. Hush, hush,
Oh yeah, that
somebody.
one.
And then there's a great song called Willie Brown's Blues, which is just awesome. And it was kind of a gateway to the blues. It's definitely what got me into like Muddy Waters,
Yeah.
Willie Dixon, things like that. And then later on, even like the North Mississippi All Stars, all that low country blues stuff, I definitely has its hand in Crossroads. And Crossroads was cool. Ralph Macchio was huge at the time. The movie wasn't huge, I don't think.
Uh-uh.
No.
It was pretty it was kind of a weird topic for a Hollywood movie, really. But
Yeah.
it was a nice gateway to the blues for folks like me who had poofy hair and liked Steve Vai a lot. So yeah, Crossroads. Kip, what do you got next?
My next one is another one I just got. They just released it, I think, either on Waxworks. I forget. It doesn't matter. It's the Ridley Scott film from 1990, I think, with Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia and Kate Capshaw. Black Rain. Now, Black Rain is the album that introduced me to Iggy Pop. It
Wow.
has his cover or his song "Living on the Edge of the Night," which is just an unbelievable. That I put that number in so many videos I made with my brothers. Like that piece of music is just, it's iconic. Greg Allman has a song called "I'll Be Holding On." It has music from Japanese artists as well, and then En Vogue, not En Vogue. I'm sorry. Yeah, En Vogue. Yeah, like, what is that track? I'm blanking on the name of the song, but it's one of my favorites by those guys. Uh, it's Back to Life by Soul to Soul, not En Vogue. That's it. So like that, and then Hans Zimmer did the score for the film, and they just released a score-only version of it, and it has this beautiful fusion of gritty American New York sort of crooked cop energy with this Japanese influence in the score. And if you've seen the film, it's kind of a sleeper. I mean, it was by Ridley Scott. Michael Douglas plays a crooked New York cop, and his partner Andy Garcia has been they're supposed to deliver this Japanese gangster back to Japan for this investigation, and he has to work with a Japanese cop. It's a great like clash of context and really diving into like that kind of Mickey Rourke Year the Dragon vibe. It's a really like gritty but beautiful picture, and the music just got under my skin. It was really my introduction to Hans Zimmer's music, and this is pre Lion King. Like so, like even then he was kind of on the come up. So Black Rain is my number two. Another one of those cassettes that I wore out. I played when we were driving out to L.A. When it came out on vinyl, I found it. I think I got an original pressing on the first release, and yeah, it's a golden disc playing in my chest at all times.
Nice.
Scotty, what do you got next?
Swingers and Swingers 2. Oh man, these are just a mix of country and exotica and jazz. It's fantastic. Um, the original one has like George Jones and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Oh God, what else is on there? You and Me and the Bottle Makes Three. That's a Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Oh the oh what's his name? Tony. Oh man, I can't think of his name. But the Money song, I can't remember. But yeah, this one has Dean Martin, Paul Anka, Hart, Sammy Davis, Mel
Cool.
Torme, Marty and Elaine, Anne Margaret, the actress,
Nice.
Xavier Cugat, which is like jazz or exotica, um, Willie, Royal Crown Review. I think they were like that 90s when that 90s swing came back for a while, remember?
Oh yeah.
Man,
Hey, I have a question. What year is that soundtrack, Scott?
Probably 90, what, 97, 98 this came out, I
Does
think,
it say who
Swingers.
produced the Anne Margaret
96,
track? 96.
96.
96.
Yeah, it doesn't say who produced that Anne Margaret track, does it?
It might. I can look inside
Yeah.
the because we know a guy that does that, don't we?
Yeah. I wondered if it was him,
Oh wow.
if he produced that track.
Anne Margaret. Mm,
Doesn't say.
doesn't say.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
doesn't say.
All right. Well, so much for that name dropping I wanted to do. All right, moving on.
Adam
Um,
Hamilton.
yeah, exactly. My next one is this is such a killer soundtrack with great rock and roll music. The music was so good in this film that certain songs from this soundtrack, I can see the scene. I can see the scene that
Yeah.
the song was used in. I love that. Always, I love that. Um, this comes up a lot for me, this soundtrack. It's really good. It's Almost Famous,
Oh yeah.
which is
Yeah,
just
man.
chock full of great tunes, and if you remember the movie, the scene of them singing Tiny Dancer on the bus
On the
after the big fight,
Yep.
and then my favorite Simon and Garfunkel song, America, is on here, which is just a beautiful song. But it's the fake band,
Yes.
the whatever they were called, Stillwater, I think,
Still
Stillwater.
Stillwater, yeah.
Yeah, there's song Fever Dog, kind of there's that Zeppelin-y sounding songs, which
Did they
is
have
really
another one
cool.
called Sad Eyes or
Yes,
something?
they've got two songs on it, two of
Two?
these
Okay.
fake band songs. And then it's got, a live version of One Way Out by the Allman Brothers that I like. It's got one of my favorite Lou Reed tunes, which is called I'm Waiting for the Man,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
is so in like those scenes that America, or Tiny Dancer, or even when they do the Fever Dog song, I can see those scenes, and I always think that's the mark of a really of well placed music in film, is when you can have the scene play out in your head when you hear that song. It's forever. It's
Mm-hmm.
like hearing, when I hear Axel F, I can
Yeah.
see the shenanigans, like I can see his whole demeanor, his Letterman's jacket he would wear, I can see the whole bit. Um, so very cool, yeah. What do you got next, Kiff?
Um, this film, this film, and the score to it is uh, another just constant. It's always kind of playing in the house. It's Hans Zimmer's score to Interstellar. Um, I mean, the music in that film. Uh, from when I saw that film, it's one of those movies that the first stop after watching the film was to the music store. Another one of those where we
Wow.
just went and got the CD, and then when it came out on vinyl, I've gotten just about every version of it. It's been featured in so many movie trailers and stuff now. I mean, my list, you guys, full transparency. I'm writing and deleting and trying to beat things. There's just so many things, but I think Interstellar is one of those tracks or one of those albums that is constantly living rent free, and means a lot musically. And to me, it's kind of encapsulating so many other Hans Zimmer scores. Like you can see like lines drawn off of Inception and off of Dunkirk and off of some of the other like Chris Nolan pictures that he's worked on that thread through that work. And just Interstellar it's haunting and beautiful, and it's a freaking masterpiece. It's absolute masterpiece. After watching the film recently, we went to go see it in 70 millimeter last summer at the Man's Chinese Theater down in Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
cool. And I hadn't seen it on a big screen in a really long time, and just absolutely wrecked us. Like that film just operates on a different frequency, man. Like there's just the idea of love being another force and dimension, like gravity and like depth is and time is such a fascinating idea. And what I love about what Hans Zimmer is doing in that music is underscoring that notion, and you do feel it throughout the entire piece of music. It's just spectacular. Interstellar is my number 3 pick.
Nice. Scotty, what do you got?
American Graffiti.
Oh yeah.
Come on. The ultimate playlist, man.
Oh man. With the Wolfman Jack stuff on here too. It's so cool. I mean, I have my dad to thank for this one, of course. He got me into this movie.
What year is that, Scott, that soundtrack?
Man.
71.
73 is
73.
mine. Yep.
73.
Yeah. So that sparked, right? That sparked the 50s nostalgia. And so already, which is kind of amazing if you think about it, like by the 70s, right?
Yeah. People were longing for.
You're already pining for an earlier, simpler time.
Yeah.
Yet you can't seem to capture or live that way, right? You can't live in that 50. I mean, in that 50s, I'm going to say in that 50s style. I know that's, and I don't mean clothing but I'm thinking, the way community functioned in some degrees and the innocence.
The closest you could get was going to a diner.
Right. And we still do that. Those exist,
Yeah, we still do it.
And it's fun. I mean, because obviously there was plenty about the 50s that wasn't great for a whole lot of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think the idea that even you're into the 70s and you're already pining for something that's not that far gone. And it's funny, we do that with the 80s, right? I mean, there's 80s nostalgia, there's 90s, there's all that. It's so funny that we as human beings are always nostalgic for something that we didn't participate in or we did participate in, right? You miss the 80s because you had such a great time in the 80s. Young people, I mean, there are kids at the school I work at there was a girl today in like a headband and bell bottoms, and she looked like the 60s kind of thing. Yeah. It's just amazing how that works and how like that soundtrack highlights that nostalgia and serves such a purpose, and how important music is to creating those emotional connections. That's cool.
How that film, itself is one of the first Vietnam films.
Right.
And like the fact that came out in 73 and it just rewinds the clock to right before it. And it's this mirror of, the country and the youth of the country had gone through this existential crisis, and the whole world had. But like to look back to 55 and to that moment before the Korean War and and just this kind of the car culture of Modesto, California, of just hanging out and cruising, and like that's what we did with our time. It's yeah, like the last like minute of that film is so harrowing and beautiful, and also really harrowing. It's just as it
Mhm.
tells you what happened to those four men
And,
after the events of the picture.
and that's kind of the thing too, is it marks that end of innocence, it
Yeah,
marks that
Yeah.
you would never live that way again, because I think that I'll even say the teenagers, the young people of the 50s versus what young people in the 60s, 70s, et cetera were exposed to. Even
yeah,
it's just so it's so funny, not funny, haha, but it's awful funny to think about how often there's a shooting, right? How often there's a shooting or God forbid an assassination, any of those things, and it's kind of like it's not ho hum, but it's not knock you. I can't tell you where I was every time I heard about a shooting.
yeah.
We're desensitized
We're
now.
desensitized, dude. It's scary and
It's crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah. Well, there we go. We're back to
Well,
soundtracks. Here's a fun soundtrack. No, I'm just kidding.
speaking of, looking, 20 years back only for this movie, and it's like us card carrying Gen Xers,
Yep.
and to us the 90s was 10 years ago.
Right.
In my brain the 90s was 10 years
Sure.
ago. It's
Sure.
not 26, you know?
It's crazy. Right. Right. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Let's see. My next one. This is a great film. If you haven't seen it, please see it. If you're a music lover, you have to see it. It's a soundtrack to the movie Muscle Shoals, and it's a
Oh,
documentary
yes.
about obviously Muscle Shoals, Alabama, um, the studio down there where it made famous and everything from certainly Sweet Home Alabama mentions it. The
Yeah.
Swampers from
Is
Muscle
that the
Shoals.
is that the one that has Jason Isbell in it?
Yes,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
got like a lot of short little interviews with
yeah.
people.
Not Isbell's in there, and he's not featured. He just
Right.
because he worked at Muscle Shoals as a studio guy. When he was young, like before the Drive-By Truckers. But this is all the cool song, Hey Jude is on this. Freebird, Kodachrome, all these things that were recorded in Muscle Shoals. Um, You Better Move On, which is one of my favorite songs. Freebird, and
Oh,
it's amazing that here's this recording studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, that
yeah.
English rock stars are coming to in the 70s. People are going to, and even like the Rolling Stones or even Skinner. Skinner were obviously from the South. Um, but like the Stones commented on just what it was like to be there, to be in Muscle Shoals, Alabama in the 70s. And they were like, hey man, this was like you talk about going back in time. They're like, this is back in time. And I can also imagine being in this small town in the South in Alabama in the 70s and having the Rolling Stones show up. Like they're at a
Well, yeah.
diner or something. And,
Right.
there were definitely folks who would drive by and like they'd be out in front of the studio smoking a cigarette or something, and they would take some heat for sure, from even farm boys, just, you know, Alabama teenagers who were like, are these guys, right? What are these guys doing? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, if you've never seen that movie, it's a great documentary about Muscle Shoals and the
it
studio.
is.
It's very good. So, all right,
Hey,
Kiff, what do you got next?
carrying on with that theme, I'm gonna go with Echo in the Canyon, the
Love
soundtrack
it.
to Echo in the
Oh,
Canyon.
I just got it.
You just got it?
I just
Amazing.
got it.
Isn't it fantastic?
Oh, it's so
so
good.
good.
For the that was so fun to watch you guys'
Yeah,
simultaneous reaction.
that's so good, man.
We
Yeah.
love, yeah.
Have you guys talked about it on the show yet?
We
We're
haven't,
big we're big Jacob Dylan guys,
Oh,
yeah.
so
awesome.
And
Yeah.
we're big Birds guys and
Oh,
Buffalo Springfield and Mamas
yeah.
and Papas and just
I love
all of,
Beck. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, all the names that you guys are mentioning are so prominently featured. This is Jacob Dylan's pet project to sort of pay tribute to the artists that came out of Laurel Canyon in the mid and late 60s and just changed the landscape of music and the
Man.
influence of the Beatles and then the influence of God, uh, the Beach Boys and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Joni Mitchell and the Mamas and the Papas. Like everybody was there creating and bouncing off of each other. And the watching the film too is so exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
To go in and watch that concert. And some of and they're all, it's almost all covers on the album, but you do get, questions with Clapton and Stephen Stills and Neil Young plays I just wasn't made for these times. And but man, Jakob Dylan just absolutely annihilates. One of my favorite tracks is Go Where You Want to Go. Like it's the first track on there, and Jade Castranos, I think is how you pronounce her name. She covers she sings what Michelle was singing on that song by the Mamas and the Papas. And she just blows, man. Like the whole album is just so filled with tremendous cuts. It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a great pick, man. Great pick. Great pick. What you got, Scotty? You better bring it now.
FM.
FM.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah.
Terrible
I've
movie.
never listened to it. FM soundtrack.
It has. This is a banger. Boston, Jimmy Buffett, Doobie Brothers, Eagles, Fogelberg, Foreigner, Billy Joel,
Wow.
Steve Miller, Tom Petty, Queen, Linda Ronstadt, Boz Scaggs, Seeger, Steely Dan, James Taylor, Joe Walsh, and Randy Meisner. It's
Yeah,
my
that's pretty
God.
big. That's pretty big. I gotta admit. Yeah. That's
It's
pretty
a
big.
terrible movie.
Terrible movie. I remember it was a panned movie for sure.
But the
Wow.
soundtrack is, and that happens where
Oh God, yes.
that'll happen where you'll get a classic soundtrack, but the movie's just god awful.
I saw the movie, the cartoon Heavy Metal. Do you remember that
Man.
movie?
Yeah.
I saw that like at the drive-in, and that's a terrible movie, but the soundtrack was kick-ass. It was almost on my list. Which had like Blue Oyster Cult and Sammy Hagar and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
But my next pick is a little more current. I like it because, first of all, again, it's a lot of 80s music, and I love 80s music. We all know that. It's also the music in this would play into some comedy, and it was The Wedding Singer, the Sandler movie.
Oh yeah,
And the
man.
soundtrack, like when you listen to the soundtrack, it's got Love Stinks. I remember the scene, he sings it at the wedding reception.
Yep.
It's got You Spin Me by Dead or Alive. You Spin, which is the dude in the band who
That was Drew
Arquette.
Barrymore's comeback movie.
It's a great film. I've always
Dude,
enjoyed it.
it's so good.
It's got the ballad, the Culture Club ballad. Do you really want?
Oh yeah.
The one
Take it
that
away, George. Yep.
George always ends up singing, and we still use the line like anytime I'm playing a gig or something, and you're not on. Like maybe in White Rabbit, Scott, when Stefanski would take his kick-ass drum solo, you'd be like, we better get back in there. They're turning on George, man. Yeah, The Wedding Singer, Kajagoogoo, Too Shy, which was a great song. All I Can Do by the Cars, killer.
Yep.
Yeah, what a great, and that's one of those soundtracks that's a good car soundtrack because you're going on vacation. It's got all your
It's
80s
fun,
jams.
yeah.
Yeah, it might as well be MTV Presents the 80s or something,
And Kiff can probably speak on this a bit too, but isn't it funny how like sometimes in movies they make fun of like eras of music?
Yeah.
Like in Step Brothers, they make fun of 80s Billy Joel doo-wop.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
right. We only do 80s Joel.
Yeah, we strictly do 80s Joel, sir. Just
man.
how they make fun of certain eras of music in movies. It
right.
cracks me up.
Yep,
which
agreed.
makes the soundtrack that much better, right?
It
Because you
really
can,
does. And like there's something about the affection that you have for something that kind of gets maligned in a picture. And then you're
Yeah.
like, no,
yeah,
that song is still fantastic. And then
yeah,
you look at
right.
it like, and then you have like, you just have a guilty pleasure moment with it. And you're like, no, man,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
nothing better than singing
yeah,
along the journey.
yeah, right.
You know,
Or
you
singing
can't
Uptown
find me and
Girl or
make me feel
whatever.
bad about my
Yeah, right,
music
right.
choices.
The NMD podcast will do that for you. You don't need
That's
film to do.
right.
All right, Kip, what do you got for your last pick?
Man, this you guys. First of all, this has been extremely difficult.
Yes,
Um,
it always is.
it always is whenever you're ranking or rating. But I gotta. This one is has kept me company since I saw it. It's Prince's soundtrack to the movie Batman.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I mean that that album, and I mean you can bundle. This is cheating to say Purple Rain and Graffiti
Sure.
Bridge and Under the Cherry Moon and pretty
Right,
much everything that Prince did musically.
right.
But
Sign
what
of the
he
times.
exact oh my god. But like but what Batman accomplished as a piece of storytelling on its own,
Hmm.
a tone setting thing that like really nestles within the production design of the picture. Like when it first announced that Prince was going to do the music to Batman, like how could two things could not be further apart from each other? I felt
Right.
at least I felt that way. Where it
Sure,
was like
sure.
you're expecting Batman, at least at that time, Batman is dark and brooding, or it was really the first time we were going to see Batman since Adam West on television. So
Right.
it was so much about like, I mean, it would have made more sense at the time to go, oh man, wouldn't Metallica be a better choice? Wouldn't, oh my God, I'm just trying to think of some other artists who would match the tone of that stuff better. Like, not Ramstein, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
just sort of that minor key driving something that feels like it would be more appropriate. But what Prince did for the Joker and for even a song like Scandalous, where he's going in on the relationship between Vicky Vale and Batman. I feel like that soundtrack album and Prince's lyrics and his musicianship works in a way that a lot of soundtracks don't, where a soundtrack is sort of like if the movie is the grocery cart, the soundtrack is a basket.
Right.
Like you take little bits and pieces of it. But Prince's soundtrack works with the movie and informs the film. It it,
It
it
creates
enriches.
tone.
Yes, totally. Like
Yes.
creating the tone, and then also after you've watched the film, it gives you subtext that
Yeah.
you might not have picked up because Michael Keaton is buried under latex,
Right.
and you know what I mean, and Joker is buried under makeup. So there's just so many things going on. I think the first time I heard Electric Chair, I wanted to throw my tape player across the tent. Like it was
Yeah.
just unbelievable. And
Wonder what those conversations were like, or how much guidance he got, right? Did
yeah,
he watch dailies? What was he doing? Like, or did they give him any direction? Like, here's a feel we want. Or if the genius of Prince just went, I'm
yeah,
Prince, you're gonna get
yeah.
what I do.
I'm so interested in what the behind the scenes story
Yes,
is and
Yeah.
that would
how
be
that
fascinating.
soundtrack came together. And then when you look at a song like Bat Dance,
I
which
love
has
that
got
song, by the
all
way.
these great needle drops from the movie, and you're like,
Yes,
oh my God, like that was like when I was talking about earlier of like being able to take a little bit of the movie home with you, to
right.
have
Yeah.
some of those films like Good Morning Vietnam 2 is another one of those movies that had so many great sound bites from the film that you get to
Right.
enjoy outside of the picture.
Right.
But that's why Batman is
Great.
my
Great pick. Great pick.
thing.
Great.
Nice.
Man, Prince, genius, genius, genius,
Genius.
Yeah.
genius. Yeah. What do you got, Scotty?
Peter Gunn
Oh yeah.
and more Peter Gunn.
Yeah.
Henry Mancini,
Yeah.
Just,
the
I mean,
goat.
I was just gonna say the blueprint kind of for that, right?
I
For
mean,
what Prince even kind of did. I
if
mean, the blueprint.
if somebody matched me, I had breakfast at Tiffany's sitting
Oh
here
yeah.
too.
Oh, hold that up again.
Audrey
So
Hepburn, so
look at it.
beautiful.
So beautiful.
What a
So
soundtrack
beautiful.
too. My God, Moon River. Ugh.
Yep.
I mean,
Got
Wow.
it on. Got it on Blu-ray too.
Look at him. Scott flexing his various
right.
mediums.
Physical media. Boom, 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 boom.
All
Gotta
right.
have. Still collect it. But Peter Gunn, man, that's the best. That's the coolest. That's my favorite TV theme ever, and probably
It's really good.
second only to the Rockford Files is probably my second favorite.
Oh wow, really?
What a
Yeah,
great
I
theme.
love
Oh
that.
my
I
God.
love that
Yeah.
one. And then the Fall Guys in there.
Did
But
I ask? We talked about the Fall Guy one time. Was that Lee Majors singing? Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
yep, that is Lee Majors.
Well,
But but yeah, Breakfast at Tiffany's is Mancini is
Oh,
so great. I mean, a lot of people, know him from Pink Panther and
which
things
is
like
great
that.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still a banger. Yeah.
great soundtrack as
Yeah.
well. I mean, just so many great, and he
Genius.
just
Yep.
brilliant how he came up with this stuff. And I've tried to
Yeah.
watch Peter Gunn on like Nick at Night. It's a pretty terrible show, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
music's great.
Well, since I have the last pick of the show, um, Scott, I like to talk about the greatest soundtrack ever made.
Hmm.
That greatest soundtrack belongs to the greatest film ever made,
Yes, I know this.
which is a vehicle that really kind of introduced us, I think, to Matthew Modine, the movie Vision Quest, which is still the Citizen Kane of high school wrestling movies.
Absolutely not where I thought you were gonna go,
Yeah,
but I'm here for it.
yeah. So there is, certainly. I'm just gonna say for those of us who, and I started the sport in like around fourth grade, finished in college. For that, first of all, sporting communities we all know are weird, right? I mean, no matter what the sport is, even if you're a football, I mean, it was a little easier. Football players, baseball players, wrestling's got these parts to it that are very. First of all, I do, in all sincerity, it's the toughest 6 minutes in sports. It really is. It's very difficult. Plus, you have this dynamic of maintaining weight, losing weight, building muscle,
Wow.
constantly work. It's just a struggle. And this movie trails this, the kid's 18, it's his vision quest. Every guy has that fantasy as a young man. They're going to find this hot girl who's going to educate them, and they're going to have this vision quest. It's going to define them as they move into adulthood. All that's great. But the soundtrack is like allowed you as a high school. I swear to God, I'd go to these wrestling tournaments, even out of school. Every kid had a Walkman, and fucking
Hmm.
dude, like 90% of them are listening to the Vision Quest soundtrack. Their whole
Hmm.
high school wrestling teams are the night before a big tournament are in the gymnasium. They roll the mats out and wheel the TV in from the AV club, and they watch this Vision Quest movie. And okay, so yes, I'm kidding. I realize it's not the greatest film ever made, but the soundtrack is so tied into the movie
Yeah.
that, much like Kiff had mentioned, and you too, Scott, is you can see those scenes.
Yeah,
Well, if one of the scenes is, high school kid makes a comeback victory and beats the quote unquote bad guy and all that, well, then that song, well, you're listening to it before you go to battle, right? It's it's the same thing. It's the preparation, or I mean, you could say the same thing about romantic. If I'm going to go out and have this romantic evening, the right song can set the tone for that, can put you in the place you need to be. The
right.
same thing with, like, your Kiff talking about the needle drops and the little bits of the movie. They can, I mean, you could be down and beaten in anything in life, and one of these simple soundtracks, I mean, I'll tell you what, if I don't know, shit, I guess if you had to go right now, and I don't know, you had to climb these stairs, and I gave you a Walkman, and it da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And if you and I were out swimming in the lake at night, and dun 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 dun, I mean, it changes your mood
Yeah.
because it's so connected to those things,
Yeah.
you know. It's someone just at school, a colleague of mine was just talking, not a music person per se, but I am. So they try to make conversation with my awkward ass and said, "Is Johnny B. Good, the opening of Johnny B. Good, the best guitar part of all time?" I go, "Well, it's pretty close." And you know what the next thing we talked about? Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Chuck Berry. We talked about Michael J. Fox. That I think, and Kiff will know this way better than myself. I think that's the goal of any sort of sound, music, scoring in film is that sort of timeless connection where if you heard Axel laugh, right? You picture that. If you hear Peter Gunn, if you hear these things, right? Pink Panther, all those things, they give you the visual. I just feel like if I were someone who was making a film or using music in another medium, that's the goal. That's
Yeah.
the huge where we think Prince may have set the tone for that movie. Who knows? A different soundtrack would have maybe, sure,
Yeah.
it's not going to change the art direction per se, or the that visual feel. But I mean, it put the Benny Hill theme right
Yeah.
over
Right.
the top of, you know, a scene in Star Wars, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden the Tauntauns seem really silly, or
Absolutely.
stormtroopers seem clumsy, right? Because the music is informing, the score of Star Wars is so, it gives weight to scenes. Well, now take that away and,
Right.
they do it all the time. And it's
Right.
to change the feel of things. So
Yep.
that's how important I think soundtracks and movie scores really are. So
Yep. Totally
there's my
agree.
2 cents, my rant about movie scores. As if I know anything about that. I literally just said Vision Quest was the greatest film ever made. Don't take my opinion, take my
I
word
was
for anything.
I was sitting here hoping that someone was going to say Star Wars for something,
Yeah, well,
and I kind of with some of the scores that are so legendary, I deliberately avoided because
yeah.
it just feels
Poltergeist, or not
obvious. Oh
Poltergeist,
my
The
god!
Exorcist. The
Yeah,
Exorcist, yeah.
Exorcist, Conan the Barbarian,
Yeah.
The Untouchables, The Mission, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Obviously Star Wars, obviously Jaws and Raiders. Like
Oh, yeah.
the body of work of these people is just mind blowing. But I think it is great to focus on, in particular, and while I hit a few scores, like really focus on these needle drops and these collections of songs. I love,
Right.
like you mentioned, a mixtape and playlists earlier, how collections of songs can work together to create a unique tone and
Right.
feeling that is unlike anything else. You could take the same songs from Beverly Hills Cop and mix that running order around and have a completely different feeling
I was
just by
just
how you sequence it.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, if you could take you know, a lovemaking scene from a film and then take the music, no sound from, the actors or anything, but you take the music out and now put Metallica in, and it changes the vibe of that sexual
Yeah,
encounter, doesn't it?
that's right. Yes, it
Right?
does.
Right?
Sure.
So I suppose that's what the good ones do, right? They
Yeah.
they either are given direction and they're able to exploit that and really create,
Yeah.
or they create the tone, right? Someone there is so in tune with what they want that film to do
Yeah.
that they can put some, and we do it in our own lives. We're all music directors, and we do that in our own lives, right? You're in the car, you put on certain music because you want to feel a certain way, or you're doing the dishes, or you've got a date, or you're getting ready to go wrestle in your high school wrestling team. Well, you're playing that's your soundtrack,
Right.
and that soundtrack allows you to see yourself differently than you are every day. So maybe I put on Prince and I'm as heroic as Batman. Maybe the Rocky theme convinces me I can kick everyone's ass, right?
Right. Right.
That's the beauty of the whole thing, I think. So,
Awesome.
well,
Yeah.
shoot. Kiff, thank you for being here, dude. Always a
Ah,
pleasure,
pleasure,
man.
guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having
Fun,
me on. As always,
fun,
it's always
fun.
a blast to talk movies with you guys.
Yes.
I
I,
gotta give a shout out. I mean, literally was fixing my record collection today and looking and sorting and like kind of culling and going, do I listen to this anymore? Maybe I'll take this over to Amoeba and trade it in and get some more physical media. But
Right.
man, like just so many of the these films, for me, Speed Racer is coming out on DVD, or I'm sorry, on 4K at the end of next week, or I think on the 19th, or maybe sooner. I just got confirmation that it's being shipped. But Michael Giacchino's score for that film is so incredibly playful and just it's just divine. And like there's so many exciting new voices in the film and television composition space, and you can really see those lines from the history and like drawing from so many of the things that we talked about today, from Swingers and American Graffiti all the way through Vision Quest, man, to
Right.
Echoes in the Canyon. Like,
Yes, right.
everything is in a constant conversation with each other.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's such a exciting form.
Yeah,
and
amen.
to be able to revisit even stuff like, big swings like the score to Megalopolis, or the Cotton Club, or Coppola stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going. I could.
Doesn't the Michigan band Sponge do a cover of Speed Racer?
Do they?
Yes,
I think they do.
they do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think there was an album that came out called like Saturday Morning Cartoons, and it was
Yes,
all like 90s bands doing.
Yeah,
which is cool
And
because there was some great
those
stuff.
guys did Go Speed Racer.
they sure did. It's
So is
number
the one
two
that-
on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
is that
Two on there.
is the one you're talking about? Is that with Emil Hirsch?
Yeah, the Wachowskis.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I saw it in Navy Pier in Chicago back in I want to say 2010 is when it came out. Maybe later, 2009. And I mean, it's a movie about all the things that you love with Speed Racer, but at its heart, it's a movie about just passion. And it's I I adore it. We saw it. I took my daughter to go see it at Vidiot's before she went off to college, and just to be able to see that on the big screen again, it's so dynamic and colorful, and so much heart. It's a masterpiece. And I just was on another show called Who Would Win Masters, debating who would win, Speed Racer or Dominic Toretto. So I got to rep Speed, and it was a blast. But anyway, just a little plug for Speed Racer. Be on the lookout for the DVD, or the 4K DVD when it comes out.
Nice. Scott, you got any closing words for us today?
For me, music and life are all about style. Miles Davis.
All right, man. See you. Kiff, thanks again, buddy.
Thanks, Kiff.
Take care, fellas. Have a great
See
one.
you. Take care, everyone.
Peace.